Regardless of which courses you're taking at Bethany Lutheran College, there are going to be times where you need to save work to a computer. Maybe you're creating a PowerPoint presentation for one of your courses. Maybe you're writing a long-term paper that you put in many hours of work. Maybe you are working on an Excel spreadsheet where you've collected a bunch of data in a science course and you're trying to analyze it. Regardless of the types of files that you're working with, you're going to need to have a plan for where you're going to save your files in an organized way. In this video, I'm going to share with you some options for where you might choose to save your files and give you some pros and cons to saving in different places. Now, there are 4 typical locations where Bethany students might choose to save files. Those are their personal computer, and in this case, I'm going to talk specifically about a laptop computer. If you have a personal computer in your dorm room, that might be useful for some applications, but if you need a file from there to be moved to a room where you're giving a PowerPoint presentation, for instance, you can't just take your whole computer with you. So for this case, I'm going to discuss a laptop computer. I'm going to talk about saving things to the Bethany network, saving things to a flash drive, and finally saving things to the cloud, like for instance saving things to Google Drive. When you think about saving things to these different locations, there are 3 parameters that you should consider. Is the location convenient? Are my files safe in that location? When I talk about file safety, I'm talking about if there's a disaster, like if you spill coffee on your laptop keyboard and your laptop doesn't work anymore, or if there's a flood that floods the server room and a server gets destroyed, are your files going to be recoverable? That's what I'm talking about. Are your files safe in that in the event that something bad happens, you'll still be able to get to them? And then security means that you're the only one who's able to access your files and the people that you want to have access, but not everybody, or nobody's going to be able to get into your files who shouldn't be able to get into them. That's what security is. Security is really a measure of how much control you have, how much ownership do you have of where the files are stored. Now let's first start by considering a personal laptop computer. Is it convenient? Is it safe? Is it secure? Well, actually, a laptop computer can be very convenient because you can take that laptop with you wherever you go, and therefore your files come with you wherever you go. Now, when I talk about saving to a laptop, I'm talking about saving to the hard drive of a laptop, to like the My Documents folder on a laptop. And when you take that laptop from one place to another, the My Documents folder on that laptop, on that hard drive, comes with you. So laptops are a fairly convenient place to save information. Are the files safe though? If your hard drive on your laptop were to crash, or if you were to drop your laptop in water or spill something on it and it were to stop working, would you be able to recover your files? And for most college students, I would guess that the answer is no. If that laptop was completely destroyed, the files were unavailable for whatever reason, especially if the hard drive crashes, you could lose all of the files that you have stored on there. Now, you may be the exception to the rule if you're really good at backing up your hard drive. If you're careful to save everything on your hard drive to an external hard drive, or back up at least the important files somehow, save them to another location, that would be great. However, let's say, for instance, your laptop is in your dorm room, your backup hard drive is in your dorm room, and God forbid, let's say there's also a fire in your dorm room that destroys both. Those files could also then be easily lost. So I would say that a laptop is not generally a very safe place to be the only location where you save your files. But it is secure because you should be the only one who is able to access your laptop as long as you have a password that you haven't shared to other students, and also as long as you're careful to log out of everything when you're done using it. You don't leave your computer on while you're logged in so other people can have access to it. So laptop is a fairly good place to save files, and if you want to save things to the hard drive of your personal computer, you can feel free to do that. I'm going to give you another option though. Every student at Bethany has a Bethany network drive where they're able to save files. Is that a convenient, safe, and secure location? Well, it turns out it's only really about half convenient to save things to the BLC network. And here's the reason. If you save anything to your Bethany network drive, you can only access it while you're physically on campus here at Bethany. So that works great for presentations, for papers that you need to print, but not so great for files that you would need off campus. So keep in mind, anything that you save to the network, you can access anywhere here on campus, but not anywhere globally. Once you leave Bethany's campus, those files are not accessible, even on the same computer that you were able to access them on Bethany's campus. Like, for instance, if you have your laptop with you, you're able to access a file while you're here at Bethany, but then you leave Bethany's Wi-Fi, you leave Bethany's network, you take your laptop home. If you try to access that drive, you won't be able to get to it because you're not connected to the network. The network is a safe place to save files because we do back up our servers, we back up the network. So if there is a catastrophe and your files are destroyed, chances are they will be able to be recovered. And it's also secure in that Bethany owns the servers where your information is stored, but we don't actually have access to your password. As long as you've changed your password at Bethany, Bethany IT staff can't just go in and look up what your password is. So your information that's stored on Bethany's server is secure. What about a flash drive, a removable USB drive? Is that a convenient, safe, and secure place to store files? Well, it is convenient because flash drives are extremely portable. You can put them in your pocket, in your purse, carry them around with you wherever you'll use them, plug them into the USB drive on any computer. The U in USB stands for universal because it's a very widely available port on most computers. So you can plug in your USB drive pretty much anywhere and access the files where you need them. However, USB drives are not very safe in that if the USB drive gets destroyed, all the files will be lost. If the USB drive gets corrupted by no fault of yours, it doesn't even contact any liquids, it seemed like it was safe, sometimes USB drives can just become corrupted and you won't be able to access your files. Also, USB drives are fairly easy to lose. And if you lose a flash drive, you've lost all of the files on it. So not the safest place to store things, at least is the only place where you're storing the things that you're saving. But USB drives are very secure because, again, you own them. You have complete ownership of the files that are saved on them, and nobody else will access them unless they physically get a hold of your USB drive. Then finally, what about the cloud? What about saving things to Google Drive? If you go to drive.google.com, you'll be able to log in with your Bethany username and password. You do need to make sure you use your email username so it has the @blc.edu at the end. And if you want, you can drag and drop files directly into Google Drive, directly onto the screen of the Google Drive website. Is Google Drive a safe, convenient, and secure location for you to save things? As it turns out, Google Drive is very convenient. Any computer with access to the internet has access to your files that are saved on the cloud. That's why the cloud is so convenient. It's also very safe because Google does back up their servers. You do hear horror stories every once in a while of somebody who saves something to Google Drive and lost access to it and were not able to recover access to it. But for every horror story, you also hear about a story of somebody who has a file on Google Drive that became corrupted, contacts Google about it, and they are able to recover that file. So it's a very safe place to save things on Google Drive. As far as security goes, once you've saved things to Google Drive, those things that you save are no longer on anything that you own. They're saved on Google's servers, and therefore you kind of lose track of the security. And yes, you would have to log in to access it, and people don't just freely have access unless you give them access. You can share things on Google Drive. But because you don't own their servers, it's generally considered not a secure place to save information. For example, your Google Drive account could be hacked, and then if it's hacked, anybody who has your username and password from the hack will be able to get into your information there. So there you have it. 4 places where you can choose to save information here at Bethany, and whether they are convenient, safe, or secure.